Welcome back to the HGC. beGenius and Fnatic going at it at the moment, and Fnatic is up 2-0 after an impressive comeback.
It was really an impressive comeback, and it was just absolutely showcasing in very nice fashion how to play the map. So that was very educational. Unfortunate though for beGenius. They had a great early game here. They just couldn't translate it into that victory, and it was so close at times again. It feels like every single time the games are just hinging on that one moment, maybe two, where they make a small mistake and they just can't get that one map in.
It's so hard too, because it has to hit you in your psyche a little bit. You know, you look at your score and you're like, we're not this bad of a team, 0-8. You know, we get some wins here, we have moments of glory. Their problem is they just don't quite close it out, and that's what you have to do when you're playing in a league with this much depth. Europe is completely talented. We see so much skill everywhere, and beGenius is a team that is talented too. They just sadly are at the bottom of the cream of the crop, which is unfortunate. Let's figure out which battleground we're going to for game number 3. Remember, this is a best-of-5 series. Fnatic is 1 win away from securing the victory. The battleground we are going to is one of Fnatic's best, Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Tomb of the Spider Queen is going to be the next one. I mean, there's a lot to say about this series. So guys, once again, we can only encourage you, check out #HGC on Twitter and send us your tweets. There have been a lot of people talking about the game so far. We had one a bit earlier from Stephen Fortin, for example, highlighting exactly that point in Towers of Doom, the comeback that was displayed by Fnatic, just showing how you can approach a situation when you're down 2 levels. But yeah, get the discussion going, #HGC, and send it to Heroes Esports. And we're going to, of course, read through all of that, and maybe we're going to see your tweet also on screen. But as you said,
we love to hear from you guys. I actually want to go a little bit further. What do you guys think at home that beGenius needs to do as a team to earn victories? What is holding them back? Is it communication? Is it the moments of glory not quite finishing? We love to hear from you guys. Tomb of the Spider Queen, here we go. The first ban of the day will be awarded to Fnatic.
Fnatic is now once again banning here first, and there we have Orion. What a comeback by Fnatic here with that Nick. And yeah, indeed, it was a very impressive one at that, and there's a lot of patience that went into it. It's one of the things that a lot of people usually are missing when they are like playing the game, that you can always come back into this. In our third and potentially final map of the series, we have Fnatic now going into the ban on Tassadar, which is very consistent to what they did so far. Tassadar, you can argue, gets even additional value on Tomb of the Spider Queen, because you can more or less control nearly both of the 2 turning points with good vision on him. And beGenius, they follow back to what they did in the first game. They seem to be banning out Lucio here, just trying to deny that healer to Fnatic.
Something to worry about for both of our teams here is Johanna just goes up in priority to be a Tomb of Spider Queen, one in particular for Fnatic, because they love to run their Chromie shenanigans, but also beGenius loves to have Johanna on their side. The wave clear that she provides is so powerful, so watch out for that tank to be up in the first couple of rotations. Greymane will be the pickup for Fnatic, and they are going back to their roots. This is the new meta, if you will, for Fnatic. The last couple of weeks, it's all about Greymane.
It's not only Fnatic, it's really just a hero making a massive, massive comeback in Europe. And as I said earlier, with having someone like Quacknix on that hero that has been playing it for just so long and is always happy to jump back into his comfort zone, they will draft around it. And Greymane is just absolutely amazing. The interesting part is, like we've been talking about #HGC, Quacknix himself has actually tweeted about the last game as well, talking a bit about how awkward it was for them, that the draft was a little bit meh, that they're really happy that they were clutching out the victory. So our boy that is going to jump on the Greymane here also being very vocal during the games, and definitely highlighting that the draft aspect of beGenius on the last map was actually pretty good, so he acknowledges that right away.
Clever draft, man. It's what many put as 50% of the game, really? Before you even get in the game, you bring out the mechanics. Understanding your draft and what you can and cannot do is very important to earning a victory or success. Malfurion and a Nubarak will be the first pickup for beGenius, and we now have that dive cake available, and we also have Malfurion here for those heals.
Yeah, so we have a Nubarak again for the potential dive. It's interesting to see that Arthas was so far ignored. I think still that's a decent pickup for them. When a Nubarak is picked this early, you of course have also really to think about, okay, what does my opponent want to take here? Because oftentimes a Nubarak, while being a great hero as is also used as a mage counter. So if you want to pick up a mage later on in the draft, one of the things you can do is pick up a Nubarak early. It complements most compositions anyways, and so later on, at this point, Fnatic could think about what do we want to pick in terms of mages, what do we try and ban out here. This is a map where we've seen them all. We've seen Kel'Thas, Gul'dan, Chromie, like you can play any kind of hero here basically.
And the response from Fnatic really shows that there. With the new map being picked up, suddenly Gul'dan needs to be picked up higher here. The Rhaegar and the Gul'dan taken away, so now beGenius is going to put out their ban. And Fnatic, if they really want to go aggressive on keeping mages out of the hands of beGenius, and we talked about in the past, Li Ming being one of those, you could actually ban it out here because they already have one of the other strong mages that are great on this battleground, which is Gul'dan. He brings that wave clear, he brings the Horrify, and he's strong in choke areas, which Tomb of the Spider Queen has a lot of.
Yeah, and especially the Horrifies. If you have a Grey main and he gets just like those short, like, first of all, it's of course a displacement issue. You're trying to use the Horrify behind a target to just push it into your team. Grey main is going to thank you with a kill usually in that scenario. So if that happens, then Quacknik is just going to explode and take targets down. beGenius with like the bans, they can definitely target the front line. You've been already talking a bit about Johanna as a potential pick. There's also Arthas around. There's a chance that beGenius with the Anubarak is also trying to get Arthas themselves. In that case, they could ban out Johanna to deny some of the wave clear to Fnatic. But they ban the Arthas instead. So Johanna is still on the board. And that's actually interesting because like Johanna and Anubarak is in my head not really doesn't really have the most synergy in that setup. So I'm curious to see what they are going to use for their front line.
You do have control in that setup, but it is one hard to pull off. You need to get a good flank in for Johanna to be very effective. Arthas being banned out, I was also toying with the idea of Ariel. Rhaegar and Ariel could be together. Rhaegar pretty solid by himself though as a solo support. The idea of Ariel, Rhaegar, and Gul'dan bringing a mana battery puts Fnatic in a spot where they can run a solo tank, whether that be a Varian in particular. But beGenius elects to get rid of the Arthas so they don't have to deal with that front line, which kind of makes me think they want to get a strong melee up there in the front.
Yeah. Now, I think so too. The thing is, it's a bit of an interesting start into the draft. We have a bit of a battle over the support so far, with Malfurion being picked up. The counter on the side of Fnatic is using Rhaegar so that it doesn't get banned out, but then beGenius reacting with that Arthur. So Fnatic, they could ban out quite a bit of damage in the backline here. But they go for an Oriel ban. They're worried about... It's actually smart if you think about it, because now... What did they do in the first game? They played the double support, and they are most likely going to lean towards something like that again. If they want to run the Anubarak as a solo tank, for example, having a double support behind it makes the most sense here. So I feel like Fnatic, with that ban on Oriel, is just currently banking on the idea that Malfurion Oriel would be used by beGenius, especially with the ban on Arthas, who usually try to combo off with the Anubarak, so they're trying to just throw a wrench into that.
Who would you run as your assassin with that? Would that just be Vala?
I mean, you have a couple of options.
Vala.
You can use the Vala. Yes, you said he combos with the Malfurion quite nicely. We have an abundance of heroes still out that he can use it as. I mean, even the Kel'Thas on this map can shine.
True.
Other teams could have thrown in a Chromie, for example, just to have a bit of poke on that map. You have great interrupt with that. Li Ming is still out there, and we talked about how beGenius loves to play her, so they definitely have a huge amount of options. My only question is after the Oriel ban.
Okay.
All right, that's one answer. I was more thinking about, do they add a second frontliner? In this case, now we have them pick a Tyrande to complement the Malfurion and have at least some iteration of the double healer setup. So that's an interesting approach to it. Now,
do we get a Stitches final pickup for beGenius? There's always that mix-up there. Is that too heavy on the Warriors and not enough damage with Kel'Thas?
I don't think... If you play double support, double tank, I think you always have to go for like an auto attack.
Yeah, you need a Bruiser or something like that, like a Sonya or an Artanis.
You're too cooldown dependent if you are going only into a Kel'Thas as your backline, I feel. Unless you have a hard-hitting melee assassin in there, but if you go for tanks, I don't think so. The Tyrande is interesting to me because normally we see an Owl build, which is extremely versatile. You do damage in the later stage of the game thanks to the level 16 talent. You have good cooldown reduction thanks to like Pierce and you're level 1, so you get a lot of abilities in. But we have seen in the past, especially by the Russian teams, more auto-attack Tyrande. And with the setup that they have, they could actually try that. So they could change the build on Tyrande to get a bit more damage out there.
Whoa, Johanna Stitches. I feel like that Stitches takeaway was because they possibly thought of seeing a Dignitas Stitches into Tyrande here. So they just take it out, get rid of that possibility here. You can go Putrid Bile, and you can pretty much peel that entire team on the left side. You can dive past a Tyrande, and if she gets stuck with the Putrid Bile, that Tyrande's dead. 100%.
Yeah, it's more or less... I mean, after losing against Dignitas as the Western Clash with Stitches making an appearance... Exactly. Post-traumatic Stitches syndrome.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so our final pickup being here for beGenius, I was thinking about another warrior because they have a new Brack, but you do need that kind of damage that's coming in. If there's anyone in particular that I would move into, if I was going to pick up an auto-attacker, I actually wouldn't mind an Artanis or even a Sonya here. Sonya would be able to get on the back line, deal with Rhaegar and Gul'dan. Artanis does have a hard time dealing with Rhaegar in particular because of the totem, so we'll see what beGenius moves into. But they definitely need something that can get in the front line and apply damage, because picking Tyrande, you want to get kills early.
Yeah, you need to get something that is able to do damage right now. And they go into a Thrall, which is fine, I guess, but I think at this point, this is definitely something they were forced into. This is one of those things where I'm like, it feels like Fnatic just like stopped them every step of the way. It looked at the beginning as if that double support would really come back. Then the Oriel gets banned out, and they're like, all right, that's fine. We're going to pick another tank.
Adapt.
The tanks are already banned to a certain extent, so all of a sudden Fnatic picks the double there. And then like, so how do we run this? I guess you could have maybe think about a Ragnaros even. That might have been something.
Sure.
You have a stun set up on the side of a Nubarak, so you can use that. You can follow up with Tyrande. Then you get the Rag ult in. I would probably have liked the Ragnaros more than the Thrall.
I think I like Thrall a little bit more for the early game because you get the Wolf, you get the engages in, and you look at it. You got Tyrande on your team, and you have a Gravity Lapse Kael'thas. That's your only main damage. You want to get kills early. You need to get kills early, and then you need to get Web Weavers to get pushing, so you have a chance here. So I think Thrall fits that a little bit more.
Yeah, you have lockdown with both hero. I feel like, of course, when you're talking Ragnaros, you don't have as much lockdown, but I don't really think you necessarily need because you have 3 already.
It's true.
That can provide that. But yeah, there's arguments to be made for both. They went with a Thrall, and I feel like this is a rougher game than the last one in terms of drafts. So for Fnatic, this is something that looks pretty decent so far. Good wave clear, good damage output. I'm curious to see how beGenius is going to run with this.
Yeah, all the eyes are on beGenius here because you look at Fnatic and they just have standard city here. They have Greymane clear out. They have Rhaegar, who's wonderful support for helping with clear, and he helps sustain through the double tank set here. You have Stitches, who can make plays on his own. If they really wanted to, they could hook and do a Gorge here with Tyrande, Kael'thas, even Malfurion. Any of those 3 getting hit, they have no escape, and they're most likely going to be dead. And then you have Gul'dan and Johanna to add on top of that. Wave clear, engage, blessed shield, and you have Horrify. You couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, and the next game, of course, is also the 3rd map in the series, which means that if beGenius loses now on Tomb of the Spider Queen, it would mean the end in this best of 5. So that's a bit of a problem for them as well. So they have to put everything into that last game right now, harness all the energy, and try to clench out a victory.
Let's see if they can clinch it. Game number 3 coming at you guys. Best of 5 series. Can Fnatic close it out, or will beGenius start doing some button pushing? Let's find out.
Game is on, and we are, as already announced, on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So once again, to the left side, we have our French team with Tank for the win on the Thrall, Donatan on the Nubarak, Unstable on Tyrande, Arcane on Malfurion, and Kirva on Kael'thas.
Washington Unstable here. I want to see his Tyrande gameplay. On the right side, in the red, it will be Fnatic. Smexy showing off the Rhaegar play. We're going to have Stitches playing by Wubby. We're going to have Gul'dan played by Schwimpy. Greymane will be playing Quacknix. And then, of course, Johanna on Breeze. Yes, we're going to be having Quacknix being played by Greymane. Perfect. Great job there.
I wouldn't even have corrected you there because I think it's actually, you're making a good point. Like, this seems to be one of those things where Greymane is literally begging, hey, come on, pick me.
Yeah, let's go. Let's play it. Let's do it.
Coach, put me in.
I'm watching Wubby over here. He's the only one that could make something happen here in the early game in this 5-on-5. You're not going to usually see it engage. The hooks being available is a serious threat that beGenius needs to look out for, so you see them playing safe. Now, they do turn around and hit a Gravity Lapse. No follow-up from Lunar Flare as Tyrande headed to the bottom to make sure that Thrall would be okay.
It's one of those awkward moments when you have the Stitches on the solo lane against the Thrall, not being part of the 4-man, but Breeze in that position is just better. So if you look at most of the maps that we're having Heroes of the Storm right now, there is a very clean cut towards like 1-4 split. So you have a solo laner and then you have a 4-man that rotates between lanes. It's one of the things that you can definitely do in your own games as well if you're playing Team League, if you're playing Hero League, and you see it here. So both the teams are currently trying to win the 4-man rotation between the middle and the top. So the main idea is you just like move from lane to lane and you just burst the wave down. You're not trying to necessarily win a fight there or even engage in one. You just burst the wave down and travel to the next one. And your opponent is starting to trail behind at some point. if they don't clear the waves as fast as you do, because they're going to lose out on experience early on. So that's like the whole idea of having these setups, at least until the Spider Queen.
Yeah, you're trying to force your opponent to fall behind somewhere, whether it's ammo on their turrets, experience, or even just missing straight-up minions. Yeah. And then, if they start to lag behind, you can make an aggressive play to go in for a kill. You're just trying to make them think, oh gosh, we have to catch up. So Fnatic right here, with them having the Gul'dan, the Johanna, and the Greymane, have the tools to clear much better, whereas Kel'Thuz has to drop flame strikes left and right.
Exactly, and this is one of those things where you have to also understand your own comp, which Fnatic here, of course, clearly does. Because oftentimes people think that when we are talking about these rotations, they need to take kills and get picks, like we see here happening for beGenius, for example. So if you have a comp that really is designed to get kills early on, like beGenius has, with that Tyrande, with that Kel'Thuz, with stuns, gravity labs, then you need to not only focus on the minions, but you also need to try and get these kills in. If you have a wave composition early on, it's a little bit different. You're focusing on the minion wave. So you need to understand what your comp really excels at. And that's what both of the teams are currently trying to put in. Fnatic winning the wave clear battle, beGenius trying to get isolation kills.
And they're moving in for an isolation kill. Wubby sidesteps the Lunar Flare, trying to retreat, and is being body blocked heavily there. Finally turns around for an auto attack. Realizes that his fate here is to fall victim to beGenius and is taken out. Breeze comes into the bottom left to clear out the minion waves and help out his fallen comrade. But Fnatic made a bold move here. They realized there was 4 people bottom. Wubby could buy some time. He's kind of a robust warrior, and he has the ability to grab some health by eating. They just pushed the top lane, and they got a turret out of it.
Yeah, and this game, like the entire series so far, has been actually really good to showcase some of the really basics that we are having Heroes of the Storm. You've been talking about the rotation to the bot lane. We've been talking about how beGenius is trying to get these kills. But Fnatic, with vision on the map, realizing, hey, we have a bit of time up to the top where we can do damage. That's why mini-map awareness is so important, because it tells you when you have an opening to do something on your specific lane.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, if you go from the bottom lane to the top lane on this battleground, it's 7 seconds when mounted to get all the way to the top lane. So take that advantage and push it in. Fnatic, realizing they had a good 7 to 10 seconds before beGenius even showed up, grab the turrets. Use that stuff to your advantage. Quacknix on the right side does get impaled on as Dantan moves in for the engage. Unstable and Airkeen taking damage though from Gul'dan. Will have to be forced to rotate, and Gul'dan just heads back to the top lane and pushes it in. And this is where beGenius starts to lag behind. When they go in for the aggressive plays and don't get a kill, they are taking damage in the top.
Exactly, because now they have to just send someone top lane to deal with the wave and soak the experience. And that's Malfurion. And once that Fnatic sees that, they know, hey, we can make a bit of a pressure play towards the turn-in. And so far, both of the teams have actually done a good job turning points in, or gems. 23 to 22. But you can see that the position of Fnatic on the map is getting stronger and stronger, because they push these lanes in faster, so they push against the opponent. And with beGenius failing to get these kills, Fnatic can just emphasize on their own team strength a lot more than the opponent, will dominate the turn-in points, and can get the web weavers.
And the climax of where this all pays off for Fnatic is when they get the turn-in that you keep talking about, where they can push in the middle of the top lane and maybe get a fort pushed out. beGenius has a chance to stop that though. If they get a kill, take away gems from someone that has a lot of gems on them, that's how they stop momentum. So they have to keep looking for the kills. This is a problem with their comp, and why we were kind of looking at it in draft. They're shoehorned into the strategy to where they have to get takedowns. And if Fnatic doesn't give any kills up, they just start to run away with the game.
Now, also another thing that I want to point out while you're talking about the turn-ins here. It looks like it happens for Fnatic. There's the interrupt, but look at what Tyrande is doing. This is the most important and the most common Tyrande build that we have. It's at the same time the comp that usually does the most damage, and the comp that does is best for interrupts. This is why we're having Pierce here, because Tyrande is also trying to just interrupt turn-ins, and can also do with a stun and has the extra range on level 7. And once you pick up your level 16, you can actually get even more damage out of that build. So this is like really the build you should go for if you favor playing Tyrande in your own games. You have so much utility, interrupting objective captures, and also at the same time getting cooldown reduction, therefore having more spells available, more heals, and then later on additional damage.
Do want to commend there. beGenius went in for an aggressive play against Fnatic. Fnatic turns around, gets massive corruption on 4 members. Greymane's also brings in a cocktail and knocks everyone down for beGenius as they have to retreat to the left side. The healing numbers for beGenius would be much lower if they didn't have double support, but that double support is just hurting them so much because they have to play back so passively.
The sustain is great for beGenius, and also they have so many interrupts. I've been talking a bit about Tyrande, but there's other heroes, Malfurion with the Moonburn. They have the Chain Lightning. It's really tricky for Fnatic, even though they push these lanes in to get the turn-in, because we have the entire time beGenius interrupting them, trying to sneak their own turn-in at the same time. So this is actually pretty cool. I mean, just look at the levels here. We are at level 9, nearly 9.5 for Fnatic, and we haven't seen a Web Weaver wave yet. Normally that happens way, way earlier in the game.
Tank for the win, and trouble on the bottom left. Had he died, that could have been that turn-in you were talking about. Both teams would love to get that before 10. Now, if beGenius holds on till level 10, they do get a lot of heroics that help them in these team fights. Twilight Dream, potentially Starfall here. Could have Cocoon or even Locust Form to dive into that back line. Kirval, though, is being dived upon. Danatan hoping to just hold his teammate in. The heals are not enough, and Kirval will fall on the Kael'thas.
That double support kept him alive for so long, but he's falling, and that is the chance for Fnatic. They have the level 10 now. They can make these plays. The Web Weavers, on the other hand, they have already been turned in, summoned by beGenius. Fnatic is going to be able to just annihilate them. They have the level 10, their opponent doesn't, so that Web Weaver wave is only doing one thing for beGenius. It's going to buy them some time.
Yeah, that turn-in is both a double-edged sword. One, because you don't get a turn-in for the opposing team, so you have a chance to fight back. Oh, not a tank for the win falls there. That hurts. But it also sucks because you kind of lose out on your Web Weavers, which is the pushing potential for this composition. And beGenius, now with 10 here, is starting to fall apart. Another poke comes in, the damage enough, Tyrande taken out.
Yeah, we're talking really about the different tools that Fnatic now has, especially with that Horrify that we mentioned earlier. Once you hit that Horrify, Greymane is just going to go to town. I also want to point out that we have Pyroblast on the side of Kael'thas, so he's trying to get those kills. It's going to be a bit risky, or it's a risky choice I feel on their part, because there's an Ancestor available, so that should really help out with it. You also have a Johanna and a high hit point Stitches against you, so let's see how much that's really going to do. Good hooks again from Whoopi, and we have already a lot of damage in that backline. Arcane is incredibly low, holds 22 gems, needs to be very careful now as the fight continues around the turn-in point.
Tyrande comes in and gives him a slight heal there. Kirval keeps up with the poke. Taint for the win did a good job of bullying Quacknix in the top and get him down to low health there. Another hook coming out. Wubby is just not missing. It is going to be a Gorge. Can he get him behind the wall? No, the Sundering to stop it, and we're going to have a turnaround here. Big Ancestral. Malfurion goes in for a Twilight Dream, but it gets interrupted.
Malfurion down. Whoopi, on the other hand, falling too. They need to pick up these gems, and they move in immediately. The stun of Tyrande misses, so Fnatic can move back, and once again, the Horrify taking down Thrall. And this is just Quacknix going to town now, trying to go for Unstable, trying to jump in, dodges the stun, goes in again. Tyrande is eliminated. They go for Danatan, and they confirm the kill against the Nubarak.
And Smexy with enough heals to keep Twimpy alive with the Pyroblast on the right side, and that's going to become much more difficult to do as well. We're going to have the Ancestral being available, and as you mentioned, Stitches and Johanna are just not good targets for that Pyroblast. A big gamble for beGenius does not pay off, and it gets worse as we get to the late game.
Breeze has 58 gems. Once that they clear the Web Weavers here, they're just descending, Breeze can turn in himself an entire wave. So once Johanna sneaks off to the turn-in spot, beGenius needs to be quite careful. And they are in a rough spot now. And we have level 13 talents, so they have the talent advantage. The Web Weavers are coming in. Enough gems for Fnatic to get another wave. This is tricky. Also Gorge here for Stitches, so if a hook hits and he gorges, he can walk away. They can get another isolation kill. This is rough.
This is rough. beGenius did a solid job when the Gorge went off in the last fight of engaging. It's what you want to do against a Gorge comp. You want to decide to either give up the person or go for a hard engage. The Sundering came out and they almost turned that fight around, but sadly the Twilight Dream being interrupted allowed Fnatic to go off.
And like Arcane's positioning on that Malfurion here a couple of times, you could really see Stitches just waiting for the cooldown on the hook to come off so he can finally go in and get that Gorge. He's baiting him, I want to say. Like that is taunting level positioning that we have from Malfurion a couple of times here. But in this case, it did not matter. Whoopi, on the other hand, sees the Thrall. They're moving in for him. Needs the heal. Where's the Ancestral? Not coming through. Smexy moving to the front. Is not in range. Finally, he's there. And there's once again the attempt for the Pyroblast. Did not work out though.
So many interruptions. Oh my gosh, the instant cleanse from Smexy. We're going to have Tank for the win on the back right. He's being focused down. We're going to have some Living Bombs connect with a few members. Hook on Danatan. He's being chased here as well. Breeze going to lead the charge with a Condemn. Another takedown for the team. There was almost a kill 3 times there for beGenius, but because of Cleanse, because of Horrify, and because of Ancestor Healing, none of those kills actually went off. Fnatic is running like a well-oiled machine right now.
And I think Breeze has a secret girlfriend. I mean, this guy is just collecting gems right now. He doesn't even try to turn them in. 67 at this point. Like, maybe he gets a special prize if he gets 100. Like, I don't know, unlocking the special mount.
Who said diamonds are a girl's best friend?
Yeah, it's gems. Let's just look at this. all that bling bling. 71! I mean, come on, kiddo, turn them in.
Gonna invest those into some stocks for the future here. Fnatic being super rich. Breeze on the left side. Can move in for that turn in and turn in like it was easy like a breeze. Danatan on the left side, poking, taking some damage from Gold Dan. And beGenius is about to get 13. You okay over there, man? You got some in your lung?
Dude, like, that was the worst pun you made yet. You had some amazing ones last weekend, but that one,
It's Friday. We got a few more days. We'll get them going. 16 to 13. Big blessed shield. Quacknick's moving in. Danatan escapes for now. Oh my god. Another hook. And he body blocks. Doesn't even have to use Gorge here. It's going to lock down.
Could you see how Arcane at some point just decided that his life was over? Like, Stitches, this is the reason why Stitcher doesn't go.
Oh
my god, not again.
Stop it. Gorge goes out. Big engage. Totem here on the side. Continue poke here. And with this being game number 3, you can literally see beGenius being deflated. Oh my! How does he do it? He just hits Q.
Please stop. And then the last hit kill steal from Quacknick, who dove over the wall to confirm the kill with go for the throw. It was just like, I got this. It's a 4-level lead right now, and Fnatic is just rolling this down. Oh, okay, we have finally a turn, and apparently, who was it? Was it Breeze? Yeah, it was Breeze. He still has 22.
And now the core can be sieged upon. We do have a gray main here. Members will be up for beGenius, so a defense is possible, but with a 4-level deficit, Starfall comes out and beGenius prays to win this fight.
Yeah, beGenius at this point is just attempting to stop the unstoppable force that is Fnatic. A 5-level lead, but Greymane is about to fall and dies finally to the Pyro Blast.
He ran into Schwimpy, which allows beGenius to chase him down. They got low on health there, and beGenius is going to get a couple kills. Their core keeps falling in percentage for now, but they're looking for kills. They want to make up for all those hooks that hit their teammates.
They actually are getting them. Whoopi is also going to fall here, so that's not only a double. This is going to be a triple. Moving in to drop Stitches, he just eats him and walks away. Oh, come on, he can't survive. Yeah, there we go. Confirming the kill and taking him down. Now, that's a lot of gems lost for Fnatic, but they still have 62, and there's 44% on beGenius's core. And like, every single one of their keeps is down.
Yep, beGenius making the play that they have to make. They run straight towards the boss. They got to take away the boss from their opponent so they can even hold on to this game for a solid amount of time. It also gets them towards level 16. If they win one more team fight here, they can earn a victory. Yeah. Let's look at Wubby, though. This guy has been on fire. Here goes a hook on the left side. Keep an eye on him. He's been connecting them consistently here. Poor Malfurion just barely oversteps, gets pulled in.
Look how we see Greymane jumping in just a second. I think that's actually another kill here. But yeah, Hook City from Wubby. This is definitely absolutely brutal. So once again, he's just like running around. Next hook is going to come out in a second. This is every time the cooldown is off, he gets another one in, just like eats the target. This is the moment, I think, is that where Quacknick jumps over? I can't even remember, but he's just like going for the kill. Yeah, there we go. He's like, that's my kill, get out of here. So that was insane work on Stitches.
3 hooks in a row, and got to call it that second hook. That was really Breeze who went in there and gave him vision to know that Toronto was there for the hook. Solid teamwork between Fnatic. All right, so beGenius did grab the boss. It is pushing the top lane, and they do have 16. Fnatic just sitting outside here, threatening for a takedown. If they get one hook here, they can move in for the kill.
Fnatic doesn't care about that boss. They have their own Web Weavers now that will deal with the boss, and they have 2 lanes pushing with catapults already been lined up. Web Weavers moving in. Danatan trying to fight the battle. Tank for the win already going in against Greymane, using his Sundering. He himself in trouble now, though, goes down. It's a 1-for-1 trade as we have Stitches falling as well.
Both on the bow side, 1-for-1 here. We're going to have Danatan getting low on health. The cleanse comes out from Arakeen, but it's not enough. Killplus had to go back home and start defending this core here because the shields are starting to fall. Kirva hoping to hit a big flame strike on one of the squishies.
And once again, the core is down, falling, and this is going to be game. Fnatic confirming the 3-0 victory against beGenius on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
There it is. So Fnatic will continue to earn wins here, and beGenius yet to earn a victory in the HGC. Unfortunate for them, but man, did Fnatic come in game number 3 and show why on Tomb of the Spider Queen they just do not lose.
It was actually a fantastic series that they have played here, and especially those hooks that we saw, they were absolutely brutal. They controlled the turning points just so well, and especially the early game up to level 10, this was where beGenius was able to push back against them, but then once level 10 hit and those hooks started to come in, those horrifies, the isolation kills, that was just too much for them to handle.
Well, beGenius has one more chance this weekend. On Sunday, they will be facing off against Dignitas. Gosh, it's so hard to say. Just knowing their record, they really need to bring something together, but it's going to be against one of the best teams in Europe right now. Dignitas has just been on fire as of late. And then again, Fnatic, they have another match tomorrow. They will be facing off against the Playing Ducks. And the Playing Ducks, boy, they have been a team that has been looking on or off. They're either hot or cold.
Yeah, exactly. Against Dignitas, they get completely destroyed. They looked pretty bad in that game, but also they went up against Dignitas, who just made them look bad, and then they completely flipped the switch against Team Liquid and looked like one of the best teams in the entire league. It was insane. They played so well there. They had insane plays on every single one of their players, especially, of course, we saw once again Sport Billy with completely outstanding performance on Zeratul, on Medivh, and on his Falstad as well. But yeah, that was an interesting one, and I can't wait to see the Playing Ducks again.
It's going to be a good one. That's happening tomorrow. But let's talk to Schwimpy. Schwimpy, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I am good. It's always great to hear from you. Congratulations on your victory today against beGenius. Did you think it was going to be a 3-0, or did they give you any fear in that matchup?
I mean, obviously, coming into this, we expected a 3-0. They haven't looked very strong, to be honest. I mean, the result speaks for itself. So we expected a 3-0. Second game got a bit closer than we thought, yeah.
Yeah, about that comeback. What are you guys telling yourself? You're about midway through. You're down, what was it, 26-4 or something, or 6 at some point. Regardless, you have to make a comeback to start earning a victory there. What are you guys saying to each other to give yourself that reassurance that you can earn the victory?
I'm not really sure what we said. We said we can still win team fights, I guess. That's the only way we win. So, yeah, that's pretty much what Reese said, I think. Or Quack, I don't know. Someone.
Awesome. Well, over to Caldor over here.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations. And also, thank you very much for waking up Quackness yesterday for the interview. That was good. What about our Chromie? I thought that maybe on Tomb of Spider Queen we finally get to see our Chromie again. Was that even talked about?
I don't know. We still practice Chromie some, but not as often as we used to. But if the pick fits, you will for sure see it coming soon, yeah.
Okay, so last season, or like in the last few months, it was basically one of the heroes that you wanted to put to bring in a little bit to play more. If you could give us the one hero that you think is undervalued right now and that you personally would like to see and play, which one would it be this time?
Uther, for sure.
Uther.
I won't play it, but I want Smexy to play it. I think it's very underrated. I think the rework was not necessary.
Wow. Okay, then. Well, before I let you go, I want to ask you about Dragon Shire. You guys seem to ban out that battleground a lot. Is there a reason for that?
So we used to ban out Battlefield of Eternity every time for like 9 months. And then we started losing everything on Dragon. Like, we lost every game on Dragon. So basically, we have started trying to play Battlefield again, and it worked out pretty well. So we just don't play Dragon anymore.
I mean, have you tried Murky Top? China made it work. It's pretty good.
Jeez.
You should try that, yeah.
You should try that. Don't worry, I got you. I got you with the coach. And thank you so much for joining us, per usual. Before we let you go, any shout-outs?
Monster energy drink, very good. Keep me very alert.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, good to hear. Thanks again. Congratulations for your victory.